Okay, so there was a bunch of NFL free agency news. Of course, it's like the first week of free agency for all the free agents out there. I just want you guys to give me 2 winners and 2 losers from NFL free agency. I'll start. And my 2 winners are the Green Bay Packers and the Oakland Raiders. I think the Raiders got better. They didn't give up much for Antonio Brown, of course, 3rd and 5th. Essentially, they traded Amari Cooper and the 3rd and 5th for Antonio Brown in the 1st, which is really nice. And the Packers got 3 defensive starters who could immediately impact the defense and probably push them to at least a wild card spot. My 2 losers are the Steelers. They just got decimated in terms of their roster. They lost both star players, and they're going to be in dysfunction. And my other loser is the New York Giants, who I think traded Odell for way less than what he's worth.
And remember, they have to pay Odell that contract they gave him because that's part of
Yeah, and they're paying him dead money, so they're paying half his contract, which sucks. But yeah, what about you guys?
So, my 2 teams, I got the Browns, not because they got Odell Beckham, but because they got Olivier Vernon, who was from the Giants, and he was a beast on the Dolphins. Past 6 seasons, he's averaged 8 sacks, and they did that in a trade for Kevin Zeitler from the Giants. So it was a trade, easy trade, great pass rusher. And then the Rams are my other winner for getting Eric Weddle, who's been a Pro Bowler in the past 3 seasons on the Baltimore Ravens. He's an old guy, but shows production.
They also signed Dante Fowler, too. They re-upped him.
Yeah.
So I'll go. First of all, my winners. Obviously, I like Oakland just because they're making some noise out here. I mean, they signed obviously Antonio Brown. They got Terrell Williams also from the Chargers, and then they also got a tackle Trent Brown from New England. And they also released Jordy Nelson. I'm actually fine with that move just because I think Jordy Nelson's getting a little, he's getting very old. And I think just keeping him there would just eat a lot of money. So releasing him to me is a good idea. I also like the Jets and the Bears too, just because obviously the Jets winning the Le'Veon Bell sweepstakes and also signing a receiver Jameson Crowder. They had a couple defensive guys in their mind. Obviously Anthony Barr went back to Minnesota. They got someone else. It's not in my mind right
Jets?
now. Yeah, the Jets.
C.J. Mosley.
C.J. Mosley, that's what it was. They got C.J. Mosley, that was good. Chicago also got HaHa Clinton-Dix and Cordell Patterson. Chicago's obviously just getting better and better. But I think my losers, obviously, I think the Redskins lost this thing. I mean, they got Landon Collins. That's a great signing, but they paid him way too much money. And I think that's what I've come to learn from the Redskins in their offseason. Obviously, Josh Norman, when he was on the market, they overpaid him a lot too. I mean, not saying Jano's an overrated player, but I mean, I just think they paid him way too much. And then also Miami, when they traded Tannehill away, I thought they were doing a pretty good thing there, but I mean this morning they just signed Ryan Fitzpatrick, so that's telling me I thought they were just going to trade Tannehill away just to make room for Kyler Murray or Dwayne Haskins or something, but I mean signing Ryan Fitzpatrick I don't even know what's happening. I don't even know what's happening.
They're continuing to be a laughing stock.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Dolphins are they're trying to rebuild around old veterans, which it doesn't make any sense. That they should be going after picks. They should be going after young players. And I'm very confused. When they cut Amendola, I was like, okay, they're gonna try to reel it back, tank a little bit. But then they signed Fitzpatrick, which also sends me messages that they want to win right now, which I don't think makes any sense. But I wouldn't rule out them drafting a Drew Lock in the draft. I hope they would, or they would just. But knowing the Dolphins, they'd probably draft another defensive end, which won't work out.
I think my winners are the Cleveland Browns, the Oakland Raiders, and the New York Jets, obviously, because they all got big name players. And my losers, obviously, the New York Giants. They literally had Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham Jr., and they were a quarterback away from getting better. And they basically just dug themselves in a deeper hole by trading Odell and also having that dead money.
And they kept the problem, and the problem is Eli Manning, and they kept the problem.
Yeah.
So they're showing me that they're not looking to rebuild. They're looking to trade the people that they wanted to build around, and they're just going to keep the problem, which I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I think they needed to go after a quarterback this draft, but now, I mean, seeing Odell walk, I mean, I just don't know what's happening now.
He's got Golden Tate to replace him, so we'll see how that goes. But I don't know, it's a laughing stock right now.
I was also looking at other teams, and one of the teams that I will say is a loser that I didn't mention was the Jaguars. Though they added Nick Foles, they lost Malik Jackson, Tashawn Gibson, Blake Bortles, and Dante Moncrief. Now I was expecting Bortles to walk, but to lose 2 defensive starters, and they lost the receivers, so you know you're not really giving Foles much. What made Foles really good in the playoffs for the Eagles was that he did have a running game and weapons around him, and I don't think that's the case in Jacksonville. So I don't think they got any better. And then I think another team that took a step back was the Cowboys, just purely off the fact they didn't do anything this offseason. I don't know any key move that they made. I know they were trying to get Earl Thomas, but it just seemed like they put all their eggs in one basket on him, and it didn't work out.
I mean, their main priority is probably now to lock up DeMarcus Lawrence after franchise tagging him. So we'll see what they do by July.
News that I've enjoyed is Detroit and San Francisco. Detroit signed Danny Amendola, a veteran wide receiver, another key addition to their wide receiver core with Marvin Jones Jr., Kenny Galladay, and they also got the defensive end from New England, Trey Flowers, which was a good pickup, and they also got Pittsburgh's tight end Jesse James, which is another good target. He can help out. I don't even know who their tight end is, to be honest. And then San Francisco, they got D Ford this past week, which I think is a good. That's a good pickup. Pro Bowl defensive end. Now that you have him, I mean their front four is going to be insane. They have D Ford now. They have Solomon Thomas from last year's draft, and they're probably going to get some kind of defensive linebacker from this draft, whether it's Bosa, whether it's White, whether it's Quinnen Williams, or they're building something special with that defense. So that was really good to see.
Yeah, I think that another team that was a really good. They had a really good free agency. Was the Lions. I think the Lions are trying to make. It seems like Patricia's trying to make in New England and Detroit, which I don't know how good he is at doing that, but it definitely is going to help. I think a guy like Flowers in that system is going to it's just basically the same defense system that New England has, so he'll probably flourish. And then picking up a guy like Amendola, is going to help Stafford out. He doesn't really have a good receiving core as of late, so we'll see what they do in that division. That division seems really tough. Try to pick a division winner next year.
Le'Veon Bell, going back on that with the Jets. His main goal this offseason was obviously to be the highest paid running back and get a lot of guaranteed money, and I don't think he accomplished it this offseason. Obviously getting only 4-year, $52.5 million and $35 million guaranteed. Todd Gurley's still getting paid more than him, so his holdout's basically a failure.
Yeah, he did hold out, and it really didn't make a difference in what happened. He's still grossly underpaid. He failed to make a new position. I think what his goal was to make a new position. It just didn't work out. I think that Le'Veon chose the Jets for the money, but what sucks is that when Darnold is going to be at his peak, and that's in maybe 2 or 3 years, his contract's going to be up and he'll be older. So I didn't think that the Jets were the right option.
Yeah, I think last year when he was offered a 5-year, $70 million contract, I thought he should have taken that one because he would have gotten more money at the Steelers if he had played all 5 years.
I mean, going back to Green Bay, I was really surprised just because I haven't really seen most of their moves online. I mean, obviously they got Adrian Amos from Chicago, that safety of that monster defense that tormented the NFC North this past year. And I was surprised that Zach Brown left Washington, and now he's on Green Bay, and he was a great player, and he will be missed. But they're getting a pretty good linebacker, and they're getting Zadarius Smith. I don't know where he played last, but he sounds good.
Yeah, and I think the team like the Eagles in the offseason are making a strong push. Last year they signed players like Michael Bennett, Jay Ajayi. It didn't really work out. Like they had Carson Wentz, he got hurt. They had to wait on Nick Foles to make like the miracle happen again. I think this year they signed Malik Jackson. They signed who else? They signed Deshaun Jackson back. I think they have firepower, and I think they're gonna push in the playoffs this year.
If you guys had to just label this free agency in one word, what would you guys label it?
Very hectic.
It was very hectic.
Very hectic. Just all the moves that happened, and obviously the drama with some of the players that were holding out and trying to get on good teams. But yeah, it was hectic.
I would probably say chaotic. I think this offseason was the most chaotic. It was almost NBA offseason like. It was just a lot of rumors, a lot of back and forth with teams. And I think the players this offseason were trying to establish themselves and get more power in terms of contract negotiations and where they want to be. But I don't think that worked. I didn't think that worked. I think if Le'Veon got a bigger contract, if Antonio got what he wanted, then we would have a different conversation. But I don't think the players got any more power than they did last season.
I think it was a bizarre offseason because you've never seen a player go on social media just to hurt their trade value, and also with Le'Veon, he's the first player that really held out a full year on franchise tag.
Yeah, I would say suspenseful because you got Antonio Brown almost deciding where he wants to go. Like the Bills, he says no. You got veterans getting released from teams that they've been on their whole career, like Terrell Suggs, and veterans like Eric Weddle getting released. So you just don't know where these players are going.
All right.
Yeah, half the time, like when I'm talking, like I don't feel like, and I look at that thing, like if you go back, like there's just
I think-
such straight lines.
I think, Kevin, I think I go closer to the mic because when Frank talks, you can hear it, but I don't know if you
Yeah,
can.
you stop at like at a great time.
Yeah.
It's like louder than us.
What the hell? Sure doesn't like come ever on Sundays.
What's next, or what's in the
It'll be hot takes and the rest, and then who'd win 2018 Warriors versus 01 Lakers.
I gotta figure out my hot take.
Probably